Thunder Wizards. All right. Looks like it's working. I'm here and I'm live streaming in Oz. So, nothing's going to change. And still giving me that stupid thing that says I need to change my resolution and then it'll fix itself. But it looks like my stream is quite good. So, in case you wondered, I'm here. Obviously, I've put out a couple of videos saying that I'm here. I think I've finally gotten over the worst of my jet lag, and it's everything that I remembered. So, I want to talk to you about what I believe to be the most important thing in this universe, which is you following your Orlog, following your destiny. And if there is a magic switch that defeats all enemies, it is that. The problem is you have to know what your destiny is. So I ask this question very often to people. Obviously, when people come to me and ask for my help, especially when they're trying to find what their, how to achieve success, how to be happy, how to be prosperous, how to achieve their soul desire, I ask them these questions. The question is real simple. It's not easy, but it's a very simple question. And the question is, if you didn't have to worry about money, and you didn't have to meet anybody else's expectations, not your mother, your father, the world, society, God, if you didn't have to meet anybody's expectations, you didn't have to worry about money, and you could do anything that you wanted, what would you do? And you'd be surprised. A lot of people will start to answer the question from a practical perspective, and I stop them and I say, hang on. I said, if you could do anything you wanted, don't try and figure out what you think is acceptable or what will work. If you could do anything, if you could have 5 wings and be a Pegasus, what is it? And you'd be surprised how many people say, I don't know. And that, my friends, in my opinion, is the source of all misery. Not knowing what your true destiny is and what it is that you truly want. And if you can figure that out, then the second thing is you have to go all out. You can't let anything stop you. Nothing. And your own unconscious mind will try to stop you. Especially if you've grown up in a less than supportive environment. And so here I am living proof once again. As you've been hearing in my videos, I've walked away from everything. Everything. And followed, in my mind, I can't think of any place else that I want to be than where I am right now. I'm here. I made it. I'm here. And I wake up every morning and I remind myself, I'm not on vacation. I'm not, there isn't, a home waiting for me or a job waiting for me or a person waiting for me. And I'm just here to, get out the tourist map and, okay, I'm going to go hike Mount Coolum. And okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go there. And I better get this done because then the plane is going to, no, I'm here. I'm here for as long as I can be here. And already, almost immediately, the other thing that I tell people is that if you want something, you have to sacrifice for it. It has to hurt. And you have to take action that is risky, that you cannot take back. an easy example is, if there's a house that you want to rent and you don't have the money to rent it, you go and you apply. If you don't get it, no big deal. You haven't lost anything. If you get it, and you'll be surprised how many times you will get it when you apply, then you take it. You sign that lease and you make that legal binding contract to pay rent for something you can't afford. That's what I mean by you have to take action that you cannot take back. It feels, I don't know how true this is, but it feels to me that there are more people out there right now watching me who want what I have to offer, who want to either be a part of the Manifestation Mastery course or want to be an apprentice. And there are openings, by the way, in case somebody wants to do that. There are openings. Or just the Qigong or something. There's something there that they want. People want to trade with me. They'll do anything except pay for it, even if it's real cheap. For me, $39, $49 or something like that is pretty cheap. I spend that money every day on little stuff. I just went and bought a hat, and I spent $100 on some other stuff. And I just don't ever hold back on what I want. I never worry about, how much money it's going to cost. Obviously, if it costs, $100,000 and I don't have that, I won't pay it. But, little things. People deny themselves little things. And they complain about not having money, and they complain about not being successful, and they complain about, but they're not even willing to risk on little things. Little things from what we're talking about here, but certainly it's not limited to this, but things like the Qigong or the certifications or training with me. I mean, you would be amazed at how ingenious people get trying to avoid paying, but trying to let me know how much they want to work with me. And I don't say this because, unless I'm in a professional relationship, meaning somebody's paid me for my time and has asked for my opinion, I won't say it. But, my thought is that, if you put half the effort into just getting what you want, if you put half the effort that you put into trying to avoid paying for something, into just going and getting what you wanted, you'd rule the world. I remember when I was in college, now I don't, I want to stay healthy, young, and happy, so I don't indulge in any kind of mind-altering chemicals or anything like that. I have no judgment if that's something you want to do. I don't. But, when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, I could get my hands on alcohol or weed or something like that, even if I was broke. I don't know how I did it. It was just because I was committed. I would find a way to get it. And I'd always end up, being able to party. And, through my adult years, I would think back on that and I would go, why can't I do that with money? Why can't I just decide? But the truth is that I have learned how to do that. It's the same thing. What was happening is that I was committed to my happiness, and that at that point in my life, that is what I did to be happy. And I was willing to, and that's going to sound like I was a streetwalker or something. I wasn't like that, but I wanted to enjoy myself, and I was committed to getting it, and I would every time. And it wasn't a question of if. I would get it. But what I didn't realize is that I had an unconscious block to my success. And so as an adult, as I'm going around as an adult, because I had an unconscious block to my success, I, seemingly was always struggling and always didn't have enough money. And now that I understand what the formula is to never have to be that way, it's very easy for me to see it in other people. So bear in mind, every time that I hear whoever you are, whatever your excuse is, I need to do this, I can't do that, I don't want to do this, but I'm doing it because I smile and it just bounces off of my forehead because I know that even though you don't realize it, it's bullshit. If you wanted and were committed to having it, you would have it. You have a car, you have a phone, you have internet. You wouldn't be able to survive without those things. And guess what? You find a way to have them. So the moral of this is I'm once again living proof that if you live the same way that my ancestors did, which was those who die in battle go to Valhalla, meaning that you must be willing to die to have what gives you happiness, your purpose, your Orlog. So let's talk about your Orlog for a moment. Orlog is the ancient word for what we would call destiny. And it means your origin law, meaning the law for you. You have a law written in you that is for you, and it's called your Orlog. And my Orlog is not your Orlog. I am living my Orlog. My Orlog was to get my ass here. And, it dawns on me how I have everything that I want. I'm renting, it's a three-bedroom house with garage across the street from here, if you want to see. This is the first place. I'm moving into another one in a couple of days, but let's see, where is it? And right now I am here. Where did it go? Hang on. It's coming. Where is it? Oh, right here. I am right here. That is right across the street from me. And then next to that, I walk a little bit further down the trail and I get here. This is just right across the street from me. Unfortunately, there aren't any waves today. Otherwise, I would be surfing instead of talking to you. And I'm not sharing this with you to brag that I'm renting a 3-bedroom house right across the street from this beach because I'm trying to show you how cool I am. That was an impossibility for me just 3 years ago. It was a complete, total, utter impossibility. And it was an impossibility for me all of my adult life because I wasn't doing what I'm telling you to do now, which is I was playing it safe. I was playing it safe and I was living out my unconscious limitations as opposed to my Orlog. So what is the Orlog? Your Orlog is that which gives you the greatest joy. So that's the question. The question is, if you didn't have to work, if you didn't have to make money, if you didn't have to worry about money, if you didn't have to meet anybody else's expectations, whether it be God, the government, your spouse, your parents, society, or even the voice in your head about what a good person is, and you could do anything you want, grow 3 heads and have 5 horns and wings and become a Pegasus. If you didn't have to worry about money, you didn't have to please anybody, you could do anything you want, what would you be doing? If you cannot answer that question with coming from a place of joy, if you cannot answer that question coming from a place of joy, you are separated from your Orlog. You are disconnected from it. And that is why the symbolism is you have to die. Not that you literally have to die, but you have to be willing to do anything to have it. The battle is not a battle against other people. It's not a battle against a government, a philosophy, politics, religion, aliens, archons, elites. The battle is not with any of them. The battle is with your own desire to be accepted by others. That is the main cause for all misery. The main cause for all misery is that you deny yourself your deepest desires in order to be loved and accepted. I'm not talking about being an anarchist or a revolutionary. That is the flip side of the same coin. An anarchist and what's the opposite? And a conformist are two sides of the same coin. Just like a Satanist and a fundamentalist pastor are two sides of the same coin. It's the same issue. One is you are either trying to fight against it, and when you fight against it, you empower it, or you are succumbing to it and you are bowing down to your own lack of existence, which is Jehovah standing up there pointing his finger at you. You're nothing, I am everything, you must follow my will. Your battle is with your own desire to be loved and accepted by others. And that even means when it infuriates you. So some of you listening to me like, I don't live for anybody, man. I just live for myself. And screw them. And screw the man. And blah, blah. You're in denial. That is a reaction where you are fighting against the impulse to want to be loved and accepted. It's just like, rebellious kids. They're trying to get their parents' attention. If they can't get it in a positive way, they try and get it in from a negative way. They get negative attention. So they go out and, get thrown in jail so that mommy and daddy will have to come and pick them up out of jail. Just anything to get their attention. All kids do it in some way or other. So if you're listening to me, I want you to ask yourself those questions again. If you didn't have to worry about making money, if you didn't have to worry about meeting anybody's expectations, that includes your parents, your spouse, your family, your friends, your church, your government, or your own values in your head. If you didn't have to meet anybody's expectations, even your own, and you could do anything, what would you do? If you can't answer that question, you are in conflict with your own soul. And that is why you struggle. Whatever it is. Most people struggle when it comes to money. Money is the biggest symbol for feeling accepted. Money is the symbol that the universe loves you and accepts you. So when we have money, we feel like we are loved. And it's, there are people that can never get enough. So it doesn't matter how much money they get, they never feel enough love. And that's what, rich, greedy people are. For people who are poor and continuously struggling with money no matter what they do. I mean, I know people who work really lucrative jobs and make a shitload of money and are still broke and complaining about it. I barely work. It blows my mind. I barely work. When I'm working a full schedule, I work 3-4 days a week, I think. I think I've got it down to 3-4 days a week. I will work on a heavy day, maybe 4 hours. And that means lying on the bed in my underwear, talking to somebody on the phone for an hour at a time. That's work for me. I come and do these videos and that's not work. I do it anyway. So my mantra is make money doing what you would do anyway. If you're not doing that, in my opinion, you are not following your own happiness. If you complain about your job at all, you are out of alignment. Okay? So, I'm happy to take any questions. I don't even know if there's anybody on there. How many people are watching? There's only 16 people watching. So yeah, it's Sunday, at 3 o'clock, so it must be Saturday, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Saturday at about 9 o'clock in the States, if I'm accurate. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them. If you have a question, you write the word. So I'm laughing because somebody just wrote a funny question. So if you have a question, write the word question, and I'll do my best to answer it. And as you know, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to sell you something. So we might as well once again revisit the value of celestial Qigong, which is number 2 in the neo.thunderwizard.com 4-step process. Okay? And then if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Hi, I'm Michael Denny of SpiritTao.com, and this is Celestial Neigong Part 1. Celestial Neigong means that this is power that is descending from heaven. And the idea is that we are all microcosms of the entire universe. You are the entire universe, and everything around you is simply the projection. You are looking within yourself. So when you look up into the stars at night, you're actually looking deep within your own body. When you look at the sun, the moon, the trees, the flowers, you're looking within yourself. This is Neigong. And so what we're doing is we're simply releasing that infinity from within us. You are tapping into and releasing the power that is within our own body, our own cells, our own organs. So one of the reasons that I'm making this DVD is in the hope that the essence and the spirit of the teaching of the Shang Qing arts can be taught to the world at large, and it is my hope that the core essence of what the Shang Qing tradition is will continue to live and grow and evolve. As we move on into the Aquarian age, everything is changing. I don't need to tell you that. The entire world is changing, and what we are seeing now is that if people hold on to external things, they are very challenged in life. And those who are making the transition into the next phase that we are moving into in the world as we approach 2012, those who look within and find their source of strength from within, those are the people who are getting the most out of life and will make the transition into the next phase of evolution most comfortably. It is my belief that the Shang Qing tradition is one method whereby human beings can evolve into the next level of being in the most comfortable fashion and be able to take advantage of the rapid, energetic, mental, and spiritual changes that are going on in the world today. Alrighty. See if we have any questions here. Crone woman walking threw down $2. Thank you, my sister. I appreciate it. Shamanic wisdom keeper. Question. Is it the ego self that is in conflict with the soul that causes the confusion and separation from Orlog? How do we fix that? Well, first, this is a rhetorical question, but how does that classification of ego self help you? Does it matter? If I say, yes, it is the ego self, which is an arbitrary term, does that somehow make it easier for you to not be in conflict? It doesn't matter that it's your ego self or something else. What matters is you are in conflict. It's that simple. Don't over intellectualize it. The issue is you are either doing one of two things in your life. You are either fearlessly taking action towards having your soul desire, living your soul desire, or you are taking action in order to be loved and accepted by others. And there will be a time where you're in conflict. You will be resentful at those whom you are trying to get love and approval from, because you're not going after your own soul desire. You're the one that decides not to do it. You're the one that decides, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be that. You know, like when I was an actor, I mean, I loved acting, but I wanted to be a big movie star because I wanted to prove to my dad that I was somebody. And that's not a reason for doing anything. You know, if I sat down and said, I love acting, and I did. But if my reasoning wasn't that I just want to enjoy living my dream, and if I make it big, great, but I don't care. I just want to be happy doing what I'm doing. I would have been following my Orlog. So the ego self, it doesn't matter. Who cares? You are not taking fearless action towards what you want, either because you don't know, or because you believe that you need to do something else in order to be accepted by something. How do we fix it? I mean, I share this all the time, so I will share it again. You can go on to courses.thunderwizard.com, find my books, and get the Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. You can also watch those videos. There's a playlist of videos on my channel. You can also go up here to neo.thunderwizard.com and you follow the first link, which is finding your soul desire. I've gone out of my way to give these things to you, so I'm grateful for the question, but I'm surprised that people keep asking me about that. So I don't know if you're new or not, but all right. So what else? Acid Rain question: do you have any advice for people living in chronic pain? Yes, I do. Same thing. You follow the same strategy as everything I've been laying out. Unless you were like your spine was crushed in a car accident where there actually is not just a slight deformity, but like some major physical structural damage. Chronic pain is listen to me very carefully, chronic pain is the direct result of fighting with yourself about doing what you want to do. I know because I lived it. I have zero physical pain issues, zero. At 55, which now I realize doesn't mean anything, but 10 years ago, I was in a huge amount of pain. I was in a marriage that I was unhappy with. I was trying to live for somebody else. I had neck spasms, back spasms. I had knee pain. My left knee was swollen like this. I could barely walk. I had joint pain and tendonitis. It would have been too painful for me to pick up this coffee mug, even though it's juice in there, not coffee. And I have none of those symptoms. And it is because I followed the formula I'm telling you now. I didn't realize what the formula was, but I've since figured it out. I jumped off the cliff. This is number 3. This latest one is the 3rd time I've jumped off the cliff since 2012. The first one was I got a divorce and I jumped off the cliff and I had nothing to my name, and I had no place to live, and I had all of these physical symptoms, and I didn't have the business that I have now. I was making about $500 a month on book sales, and that was it. And I jumped off the cliff, and then I ended up jumping off the cliff again, and I moved to Southern California again with no money. The story that I told earlier about find the house that you want to live in, go and apply for it, and sign the lease when you don't have the money. That will force you to take action in a way that the universe will respond by giving you money. Here's the rule. You have to understand the rules. Go up here to neo.thunderwizard.com and click on the 5 rules to master the matrix. You have to understand the rules. The rules are, if you are following your soul desire, unrestrained, fearlessly, and taking action, the universe must provide for your needs. Whether that's money or home or food or whatever it is, the universe must. Because the universe is waiting for you to follow your Orlog. You following your Orlog is more important than the sun rising in the east. You know, we think that these laws are fixed, but they're not. I talked about it last night or whatever it was, but I was walking on the beach last night just around sunset, and the moon was wrong. It was just totally off. I didn't know what was wrong with it, but it just didn't look the same. It looked like a totally different planet. And I thought for a moment, you know, because I was still jet lagged, I'm like, am I on another planet? Did I go, you know, am I on some other, and the weird birds, where the hell am I? Well, as it turns out, because of the curvature of the Earth, when you look up in the sky, you see the moon completely backwards and all of the stars completely backwards from the northern hemisphere. So, you know, things are not as fixed as we think they are. And that's an important, I don't know what point I was trying to make, but that's an important thing to understand. So the rule is you have to know what it is that gives you joy. If you don't know what it is that gives you joy, you are in conflict and you need help from somebody like me to help you figure that out. And then once you figured that out, that's not enough. You then have to go do it, no matter what the cost. And then the rule is the universe must give you what you need. That's why I don't have sympathy for people who tell me I can't afford to take your course. I can't afford to work with you. I really want to. Someday I will. I have no sympathy for you. I wish you all the best, but I don't buy it. Because in my experience, what has happened when I didn't have the money, when I went surfing, because surfing is the most important thing to me. And when I went back in the water after not having surfed for 10 years and having tendonitis and neck pain and back pain and being really out of shape, I went in the freezing cold winter California water with 6-foot-high waves, and I paddled out knowing that I might drown because I was in so much physical pain. And guess what happened? Once I started paddling and I had to get over those waves in order not to, you know, get thrashed, the pain went away. The same thing is true for whatever else you need. So if you're going to tell me that you can't, I really want that, but I just can't afford it, I don't believe you. There's always something you can do. If you want anything bad enough, you can find a way to get it. And if you can't, it means you're in conflict. You don't need to feel guilty or judged. It's just a fact of life. It's why we come here. We come here to deal with this and to learn and to grow. This is what my ancestors understood it. They understood it because they said, those who die in battle go to Valhalla. It means those who are willing to die to have their own happiness will achieve it. That's all that it means. It's just their warrior culture way of saying the same thing. I don't know whose question I was answering, but chronic pain. So here's the other thing. Chronic pain. I want you to go online and look for TMS. It's short for tension myositis. I think I'm spelling that right. Syndrome. I might have misspelled that. It just simply means this was discovered by a doctor of like the back. You know, he's dead now, but a guy who dealt with people's like back problems, broken backs and stuff like that. And what he realized is that when you are in conflict, and what he calls it being in unconscious rage, meaning that you have something that is bothering you, that is infuriating you, and you're not willing or able to deal with it, like a marriage, let's say, and you're in a marriage that's not working and you're furious because you're living a life you can't stand, but in order to deal with it, be a good person or make the marriage work or whatever it is, you stuff the feelings down. The brain says, oh, I get it. You don't want to deal with your rage. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to limit the amount of blood flow to certain nerves and muscle tissue, and they will go into spasm, and you will be in constant pain. That way you'll be distracted from what really bothers you. Now that's a doctor's way of looking at it. The shamanic way of looking at it is saying it is symptomatic of your internal struggle. You are manifesting physically your unconscious internal battle with yourself. You are furious with yourself for not doing what you want. And so instead of taking action, because that's what the anger is trying to get you to do. Anger is your friend when you let it point you in the right direction. Your anger is trying to get you to take action towards what you want. When you refuse to follow that, the anger gets pointed back at you and it blows up inside of your body and creates all kinds of diseases and pain. So my advice for you is to follow the same thing that I tell people if they want to achieve success. Okay, so get that book, watch those videos. I gave it all to you. Bryce Gertson, question, are you familiar with any of the mythology of the Amazon? No. Shamanic Wisdom Keeper, question, can you talk more about Yuhuaj rune? I have to make sure that you're talking about the Yuhuaj rune. So the Yuhuaj rune is the rune of shamanic initiation, the rune of life and death. It looks like a fish hook or whatever. It goes up like this, down like this, up like that. It's the yew tree. That's why I pronounce it Yuhuaj. It annoys me because it looks, when you write it in English, we don't have a letter for the U sound. You know, they have the umlaut in other languages, but we don't have it in English. So we write it E-I-H. But it's originally, I believe it was Yuhuaj, the yew tree. The yew tree is the tree of life and death. If you know anything about the yew tree, you know that the yew tree branches come up and then they come down, they go burrow into the ground, go down, and they come up again as another yew tree somewhere else. So that's why it goes up and down like that. It's also, it dies from the inside. The way it grows is it dies on the inside and then grows outward. And it's an incredibly long-lasting tree. That's why yew trees have those holes in them that shamans would go sit in. Yew trees also give off a hallucinogen. And by hallucinogen, I mean a poison, which can put you into an altered state of consciousness, which why it's another shamanic tree. And it's a poison. That's the thing about poison. So, you know, the thing about taking hallucinogens is that you are taking a poison and you are forcing your body to go through a near-death experience. So the drug itself is not giving you a vision. The vision comes from you putting your body under such stress that it's dying and you're having a near-death experience. So, you know, you can hear by what I'm talking about, that's a really aggressive and unnecessary method. If you want to know the best way to do it, go to number 2 or number 3. Yeah, I forget which one. The Celestial Qigong. I already did the thing on it. That will give you more power than any hallucinogen ever will. So, I won't take up the whole time talking about Yuhuaj, but there you go. Jameson Colliday, question. Mentioning expectations of self and releasing that to align with one's Orlog. Could you please expand on that as it relates to teaching and warrior energy? So I don't know why you want me to talk about teaching. I don't know what that means. I mean, all I can say is it's the same no matter what we're talking about, whether we're talking about teaching or whether we're talking about selling cars or, you know, if teaching is something that you want to do that gives you joy, then go do it. I don't know what else you want me to do in terms of, you know, teaching isn't its own little thing. And, oh, well, let's talk about dying in battle. But when we talk about teaching, it's a whole different thing. No, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. Are you doing what you want to do, or are you trying to meet other people's expectations? If you are teaching because you've been told that that's what you're supposed to do, and I'm going to be a teacher and I'm going to add to be, and it's not really something you want, then stop doing it. I don't know how else to say it. Warrior energy. I don't know what you want me to say about warrior energy. Warrior is simply just a term that means, a warrior is somebody who knows that I am going out to fight a battle, and I must be willing to die in order to win that battle. That's it. That's what I mean when that's what the warrior energy is. It doesn't mean getting stabbed in the face or doing it to somebody else. It means being willing, having the desire and the willingness to die in order to achieve what you want. In other words, you have to say to yourself, I want what I want so badly that I would rather be dead than not be living my joy. Now, I don't want you to twist that into an excuse to kill yourself, because that's what childs do. That's a child's way out. It's a temper tantrum. And it's just, it's an extreme way of trying to get the universe to feel sorry for you and to get attention. But that's what I did that time I went out surfing, and I was full of pain, and I hadn't surfed in 10 years, and I thought I was too old. And I'm like, this is the most important thing. I haven't done it in 10 years. I've wasted 10 years of my life trying to meet somebody else's expectations, and I'm too old, and I'm out of shape, and I'm, whatever, I might drown, but at least I'll be doing what I want. And I went out and did it, and it completely changed everything in my life. Everything. So I don't know what else you want me to say about the warrior. So there it is. Brent Moss question. I've been doing the Fehu ritual every day. So I did Manifestation Mastery course video. There's A and B videos. So if you want to learn about that, go to thunderwizard.com and click on Manifestation Mastery course, and you'll get all of I think the Fehu ritual was in that. I'm not sure, but you can find out about that. I've been doing the Fehu ritual every day since you posted the video in March. It's a habit now, but I haven't noticed any effects yet. Should I continue? It's a really good question. Should you continue? Why are you asking me? What do you think? Here's how this works. When you commit to a ritual, the ritual is that in other words, like if you say whatever, first off, I got to stop and go back, because if you're doing the ritual and you're in conflict with yourself, it won't do any good for you. You first have to know what it is that you want. If you think that getting $10,000 is going to fix your problems, but you are actively working against your own Orlog, then it won't matter. So here's how the universe works. Again, go up here. Again, it amazes me that you guys, that more of you haven't got it. Go and get the 5 rules to master the matrix. Get that whole series. Trust me, it's the most valuable, practical teaching I have when it comes to being successful. That's it. Here's the laws of the universe. This isn't just me spouting. I've proven it to myself. The universe is a conscious being that responds to you. It knows when you're full of shit, and it knows when you are connected to your deepest desire or not. When you take action out of fear, which is when you are doing anything other than going after what makes you happy with everything that you have, when you're doing anything other than that, the universe says, he's not serious. I have this blank check, and I have whatever you need, but you have to go after what it is you truly want. And I can tell you that you're not. So you told me not to give you anything if you weren't going to follow your true path. So I'm following your commands, and I'm not giving you anything. So if you're doing the Fehu ritual over and over again and nothing's happening, it could be a bunch of things, but one of them could be that you're not in alignment with what you truly want, and you're still taking negative actions. Or you are under the illusion that if I just had money, it would all be okay. I can't tell you how many times I hear that. And it's just not true. I've seen it. I've seen people who were in denial of their soul desire, who got money, and they still didn't have enough money. Somehow they still couldn't pay the bills. And like me, I'm like, I shouldn't have a whole lot of money right now. I should be really like just desperate for money, and I'm not. And maybe I don't see what it is that I'm doing to bring all the money in or how it's coming in, but that's how it works. It's this seamless thing. If you do what you're supposed to do, the money comes so that you can continue to do what you're supposed to do. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it doesn't matter if you have $1 billion. The people who win the lottery end up broke and in debt years later. All of them. I mean, like, it's amazing. They all end up, especially the poorer they are, they win $1 billion in 10 years. They're in debt. So if you're doing the Fehu ritual because you think you need money and you are in denial of your true desire, you're working against yourself, and the Fehu ritual won't work. The other thing is, if you are aware of what it is you truly want, and it is your soul desire, and you are actively going against the need to be loved and accepted, if you're not playing it safe and you're not being fearful, and you're taking balls out, balls to the wall, balls deep action on it, then the ritual isn't, I'm going to try it this week and see what happens. The ritual is, I'm going to keep doing this ritual until I get what I need, and you don't stop. There are yogis in India who do this thing where they hold their right hand up like this for a year. A year. They won't bring their hand down for a year. They lie down with their hand up, they get up, they eat, they take a crap, they wipe their butt. They never, ever take their hand down for a year. And you're telling me you've been doing the Fehu ritual every day for a few minutes and it hasn't worked, and so should I stop? How committed are you to what you want? Okay, that's enough of that. Freedom. Do you have to die in battle to be accepted into Odin's heaven? So Freedom, did you hear anything that I just said? You're new to the channel, right? Hello, welcome to the channel. So I haven't said anything about actually having to be killed to go to Odin's heaven. That's not what Valhalla is. So I recommend that after this video is archived, you go back and watch it from the beginning. I welcome you to the channel, and I suggest that you go and search my channel for Dying in Battle and watch those videos, because that's a good question, but I want you to go deeper than that. I want you to really listen to what I'm saying and go deeper. Okay? All right, I don't see any more questions here. Again, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to try and sell you stuff. So going up here, again, it amazes me. neo.thunderwizard.com. What amazes me is how few people have taken advantage of this. If you're watching my channel all the time and you come on here and you listen to me babble on for 3 hours and you really love my channel and I've changed your life and you haven't invested in that, you're doing yourself a disservice. 4 things you need. We're not even talking about the shamanism course that I teach, which is at thunderwizard.com. For the entry-level subscription for that, you can get everything that I teach in shamanism from A to Z, including ritual, runes, energy work, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even talking about that. This is the 4 things that you need to just get the most out of life, as well as get the most out of what I'm teaching. neo.thunderwizard.com. The first thing you need to know is you need to know what your soul desire is. You need to know your destination. So if you don't know what your destination is, you'll never, ever get what you need. I just was talking with somebody today, and I was asking that question. If you didn't have to worry about money, you could do anything you want, you didn't have to meet anybody's expectations, what would you be doing? I don't know. There's no place to go. If you don't know where you're going, it won't matter how much money you make. Trust me, you will be broke and miserable. I guarantee it. If you know where you're going and you're committed to it, regardless of what comes up within you to stop you, it won't matter if you have $5. That $5 will be everything that you need. Like I said, I'm renting a 3-bedroom house across the street from the most beautiful coastline I've ever seen in my life. And it doesn't feel like anything to me. I couldn't do that 4 years ago. So I don't feel like I don't feel rich at all. I don't feel like I have a lot of money. In fact, truth be known, I'm in debt to, I took out a loan for this, but so what? So you got to know where you're going, and you got to be ruthlessly committed to that. You have to have a vehicle. The vehicle is life force energy, because the universe is made out of life force energy. You need life force energy to travel in it. So don't do things that screw it up. I won't get into that, but you need the vehicle. That is the celestial Qigong. That's number 2. Number 3, you need to know the rules of the road. If you know where you're going, you have your map, you have your vehicle, you have to know how to drive. I'm over here every moment that I get in my car, I'm sitting on the wrong side of the car, and I have to tell myself to do the opposite that I've been doing my whole life, which is I've got to, let me see if I get this right. I have to first look right, then left, and then right. Otherwise, if I keep looking left, I'm going to get smacked on the other side of the head. I have to know the rules of the road, or I'm not going to get anywhere. The rules of the road are the 5 rules to master the matrix. If you understand the rules, one is, if you act in fear, the universe will respond in a way that makes you feel like you're being punished. If you act in fearlessness, the universe will respond in a way that you feel rewarded. So when you get out of the judging the universe and God doesn't love me and the universe has it in for me and the elites and the archons and the aliens and the reptilians, blah, 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 when you get out of that and realize, oh, it's me. I am acting against my deepest desires and the universe is not responding the way I want. Oh, so if I act fearlessly and do things like take risks and buy things that I want even if I don't have the money, and signing leases when I don't have the money, and doing the things my parents don't want to do because it makes me happy, if I do that anyway, the universe will give me what I need. You have to understand those rules. If you understand them, you won't get wrapped up in the feelings, which is what everybody does. They get wrapped up in the feelings. But I don't feel it. Can you tell me how to feel brave? No, you're going to be shitting your pants. That's what warriors do. It doesn't say those who have no fear in battle go to Valhalla. It says those who die in battle. They don't care how you feel. You could be scared to death or you could be brave. It doesn't matter as long as the action is you got up off your ass and you went to the front line and you were willing to die to win the battle. If you're willing to die to get what you want, the universe responds to that, not how you feel. And then the 4th one is we're going to have live Q&As for the Manifestation Mastery course where I'll go really in depth with you. It'll be a more of an advanced class where I'll ask you questions and let you talk back to me, and it'll be more like a group situation. That's number 4. You need those 4 things. If you don't have those 4 things and you're struggling, you're doing yourself a disservice by not going to neo.thunderwizard.com. Okay, I told you if you don't ask questions, I'm going to sell you stuff. So now I'm done. Let's see if there's any more questions. And if not, we'll call it an afternoon. Acid Rain, question. Have you read into the Aboriginal Australian Dreamtime lore? No, I haven't. So if that happens, I'm totally open to that. I do feel something might happen in that regard, but I'm not going to force it because I don't believe in appropriating other cultures. But if I have a dharmic and a karmic path, then I'm going to let that manifest itself. Having said that, Acid Rain, you're new to my channel. So what I would like to ask you to do is to only ask me questions about what I teach. And only ask me about what I teach. Don't ask me about other teachers. Don't ask me about other paths. Bottom line is it's disrespectful to everybody when you do that. It shows that you don't know what I'm teaching, and it puts me in a situation of potentially saying or doing something out of my ignorance, which would be harmful to whoever I'm talking about. So I invite you to really search my channel. I've got books up here. Click on both of these links, find out all the resources and see if this is a path for you. And I would love to answer your questions about what I teach. That's how I can best help you. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to cut it short for today because I want to go swim in the ocean before it gets dark. So I think I've done all the selling I need to do, but we've now done it. This is my first live Q&A from Oz, And from my perspective, I haven't had any problems. I was having a lot of problems with the internet back in California. I almost said back home, but that's not home for me anymore. And anyway, I'm really excited. I'm going to keep you guys posted, and there's that. All right, my friends. So if there is nothing else, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Let's see here. Okay, Krishna Bala, welcome to the channel. I'm just about to sign off, but in the future, if you come back on, here's what I'd like for you to do. I would like for you to ask a question. This is really what I want to do. Everybody's got an opinion. Today we don't have a lot of people, but if we had a lot of people, I end up having to scroll through people's comments and questions. Even if you're being a cheerleader, I have to scroll through it to find the questions. So if you have a question, I would love to answer that. Otherwise, that's how you can best contribute to this. Thank you again, and welcome to the channel. All right, that's it for me, my friends. I will see you another time. Wait, hang on.